I want to reply to this comment, but before I do, disclaimer. I'm a Democrat. I hate party politics, and I am a Democrat. I am not a registered Democrat, in that I have never registered with a political party ever in my life, but I consider myself to be a Democrat. I am of the opinion, I am of the belief that barring a breakup of the two-party system, one of only two people are going to win the presidency. That's the Republican candidate or the Democratic candidate. And whether I like it or not, I have to pick the better option of those two. The independent isn't going to win. The Green Party isn't going to win. The Libertarian isn't going to win. We have a two-party system that is an extremely flawed two-party system, but it is the system that we have. And as a result of that, I, at the moment, with the system that we have, am a Democrat. This comment I found to be extraordinarily interesting. Bernie Sanders got screwed over by the superdelegates, and then they put up somebody that we don't want and expect us to turn out for them. I think not. This is in regards to the 2016 primary, when Hillary Clinton won the nomination and Bernie Sanders lost the nomination. This person is saying that Bernie got screwed over by the superdelegates. Now, if you guys don't remember, superdelegates are people that have their vote has a little bit more weight than the average citizen's vote does. And superdelegates are made up of former Democratic presidents, Democratic mayors, Democratic governors, Democratic Party officials, Democratic donors, all kinds of different people. And this person is saying that those people, those superdelegates, should have voted for Bernie Sanders. And the fact that they didn't screwed over Bernie Sanders. So now let's look at the actual numbers from the 2016 primary. Bernie Sanders fell 3 million votes shy of what Hillary Clinton had in just raw votes. This is not superdelegates. This is just you and I going to the polls to vote in the primary for who we want to be the candidate in that year's election. Hillary Clinton got 15,805,000 votes. Bernie Sanders got 12,029,000. Over 3 million votes less for Bernie Sanders. That shows you that a majority of the people in the country that voted in the Democratic primary wanted Hillary Clinton and not Bernie Sanders. So your assertion is that those superdelegates, seeing those numbers, should have gone with the guy less people in the party wanted. The person that less people who voted in the primary wanted. Why? Why? Your side's argument, the Bernie Sanders side argument about 2016 to this day is that, well, Hillary Clinton didn't do anything to earn my vote. I didn't like her, so I didn't have to show up to vote for her. Okay, well, why should these superdelegates show up to vote for Bernie Sanders? Maybe they didn't like the fact that he had a poorer showing in the raw vote total than Hillary Clinton did. That 3 million more Democratic voters wanted Hillary Clinton than Bernie. Maybe they didn't like that fact about Bernie, so they should have still voted for him. Maybe they didn't like the fact that Bernie Sanders has never thought that the Democratic Party was anything he should run, the banner that he should run under his entire time he's been in the Senate. He's been an independent, but all of a sudden he needs to use the Democratic Party and its mechanisms in order to help get elected president. Maybe they didn't like that fact. Maybe they didn't like the fact that after he was mathematically eliminated, he stayed in the race. But for whatever reason they didn't want to vote for Bernie Sanders, your assertion is that they should have. They should have voted for the guy that got 3 million fewer primary votes because you like them. The 3+ million more votes that Hillary Clinton got in the primary, once again, we're not talking about superdelegates. We're talking about average, everyday American Democratic voters walking into the booth and voting for their person in the primary. That resulted in Hillary Clinton getting 2,205 pledge delegates. You see the superdelegate count she got eventually underneath that at 602. Now look at Bernie Sanders. He had 1,846. So from the raw vote total, she had 2,205 pledged delegates out of the 2,382 needed to win, and he had 1,846. And your assertion is that those 602 superdelegates should have gone with the guy that fewer people wanted. Make it make sense. Where's the logic in that? You guys always say that Hillary Clinton didn't earn your vote. What did Bernie Sanders do to earn the vote of the superdelegates? I'm being very sincere when I say this. Did he win more votes to earn the superdelegates' votes? No. Did he have more support among the people? Clearly not. Otherwise, it would have translated in actual physical votes. Was he an actual Democrat? No, he was only using the Democratic Party to get elected president. He's never been a Democrat a day in his life. Maybe when he was younger, he might have been a Democrat, but he's been an independent the whole time he's been a senator. All of these things meant that those 602 delegates should have just automatically given Bernie Sanders his vote. It sounds to me like more excuse making. It sounds to me like more excuse making as to why you guys didn't vote for Hillary Clinton and allowed somebody like Donald Trump to get into office. Well, because the superdelegates didn't vote for him. They didn't have to vote for him. Just like anybody that walked into a voting booth and voted for Hillary Clinton in their local town didn't have to vote for Bernie Sanders. And over 3 million more of us voted for Hillary Clinton than you guys who voted for Bernie Sanders. That's not getting screwed by anybody. That's not getting fucked over by anybody. That's losing an election. He lost an election. And his most ardent supporters to this day, 9 whatever years later, still can't fucking deal with it. Still can't accept the fact that he lost the election and, for whatever reason, will not own the fact that their action, their writing him in, they're abstaining from voting, or like I've showed you a million times, the number of people who voted for him in the primary but voted for Trump in the general election. Whatever the case may be, they will not own the fact that the entirety of that first term in office is at their feet. There have been plenty of people who have won the nomination that I didn't like and didn't want to vote for, but still voted for them in the general election because it was the right thing to do. I didn't want to vote for Gore. But it was the right thing to do. And that's the moral righteousness of the far left that I can't get behind, right? Well, you didn't nominate the guy I wanted, so therefore I'm going to tank this and teach you a lesson by fucking over the whole country. That's what you guys did. If not for Bernie Sanders voters either voting for Donald Trump in the general election, writing him in the general election, or just abstaining from voting, whether altogether or for the president alone, we would never have the first term. We would never have a 6-3 lifetime conservative Supreme Court. We never have the overturning of Roe v. Wade. We wouldn't currently have gay marriage in the sights of the Supreme Court. We wouldn't have presidential immunity, most likely, granted to presidents to be able to do whatever the fuck they want to do. We wouldn't have had the unnecessary trade wars with China. The farmers wouldn't have lost their farms as a result of that. We would have never used troops as props to send to the southern border to fight a non-existent caravan. We would have never had Russian officials in the White House Oval Office for the first time in American history without U.S. press. If not for the Sanders supporters who felt like Bernie got fucked over, when all that happened is Bernie didn't get enough votes. And that's how elections work, man.